Welcome back. You're watching the live coverage from outside the United Nations headquarters. You're watching Republic TV live from New York, setting the agenda with that breaking news story sometime back when the US government has told Pakistan, fall in line, act against Hafiz Saeed, act against Masood Azhar if you want any movement in ties with India at all, because US has also been a victim of 2611, remember, and Hafiz Saeed is wanted even in America. I have with me Digambar, who's a co-convenor for the BJP media cell here of the Overseas Friends of BJP. Digambar, in a few minutes from now, by the way, there will be over 5,000 people holding the tricolour. 5,000 people in a few minutes from now. They're all starting to come here one after the other. Digambar, it's going to be one big speech in some time from now, in 2 hours from now.
Yeah, we are all excited for the speech. At the same time, we are expecting Prime Minister to lay, as expected, everybody is expecting Prime Minister to lay out his vision for New India. When his vision for New India includes world's agenda, because now India is not just a regional power, it is like taking the central stage, whether it is a climate change, whether it is whatever the nation, any big world action that needs to be taken, it starts with India today. Yeah. So that is what he's gonna push the narrative. At the same time, he has been asking to redefine the word terrorism. I think probably he'll reiterate that world needs to define the terrorism, and at the same time he will be addressing the global challenge today, that is terrorism, and isolating the terrorism and terrorist supporting countries and their sponsors and their agents. Everybody will be isolated, and he will probably ask the world to support him taking the action against all these terrorist elements across the globe, wherever they are, whether they are in the neighborhood, whether they are in the somewhere else, wherever they are, terrorists will be punished according to for their actions, no matter what they do. And at the same time, Indian community here are gathering, and we are all excited to listen to Prime Minister's speech. At the same time, cheer for him, because he has been putting our agenda very effectively and efficiently throughout the global summit, throughout the global forums he has been attending. And we are expecting the same this time also, with more force, because he might be talking about what is New India visioning and where the world can chip in and work together to make our vision the very effective vision. At the same time, he changed the narrative, and the current government changed the narrative, because earlier whenever we used to go to the UN or any other countries, any big forums, whether it is World Bank, people are afraid to talk to India because they are expecting some, they'll be asking some dollars there, here and there. But now here is India, New India, where it is giving solar panels to the United Nations. Even it is symbolic, it is a big gesture. And when it comes to the World Bank, and India is now supplying the money to the Russia and other countries. Yeah. India is giving the line of credit to
there's been a big breaking news that has come now. Now, America has asked Pakistan to fall in line. They've asked Pakistan to say that, to ask Pakistan to act against Hafiz Saeed, to act against Masood Azhar. They've told Pakistan to fall in line if they want any improvement in ties.
So that is as expected, because if you look at the Howdy Modi event, what President Trump has clearly stated, that today's one of the greatest dangers is radical Islamic terrorism. And the epicenter of radical Islamic terrorism is none other than Pakistan. There is no ifs and buts. Yeah. So if the United States is asked, I'm not surprised, because that is expected to be asked, and Pakistan to fall in line. Yeah. Because if they are not falling in line, they are not just keeping the lives endangered for the Indians, but the rest of the world. Absolutely. Terrorism is not now a problem of just India. To the world, it is become a problem.
Stay with me, my friend.
Thanks a lot for staying with Republic TV, your one-stop destination for all the live updates from the UN headquarters in New York, where my colleague Niranjan is joining us. Also with us, our executive editor Abhishek Kapoor, my colleague Sakal Bhatt also with me in our Delhi studios. So Niranjan, it is just about under 3 hours to go now, and the world will be watching Narendra Modi speak, because what India has done very successfully over the last few years is not just reduce itself to India-Pakistan issues. It wants to play a greater leadership role on several fronts in the global scenario, and that's what India would be pushing for again tonight.
Well, absolutely, and expect some fireworks today, Shivani. Expect some fireworks, because this is a very special visit. Don't forget, it's a very special visit, Shivani, because from the time he's landed in Houston, the kind of reception that he's got, and Digambar will also tell you, the kind of reception that he's got here on American soil from Indian Americans, unprecedented, because from 2014 when he first came here, and remember, Shivani, he came here after he was first banned, and later America was forced to revoke that ban, and then he landed here on American soil. And then he sent a message with the Madison Square Garden address. From then to you know what happened at San Jose, to now Houston, where 50,000 people welcomed him. There was a roar every time he made a point on the kind of action that his government took vis-a-vis terror, or more recently Article 370. Thunderous roar, thunderous applause, and I can tell you that it's a build-up. It's a constant build-up as far as the Prime Minister is concerned. He spoke of several issues. He spoke about how India is developing and how we are more empowered today, and how there are more schemes to empower every section of the society, and how we're headed towards the $5 trillion economy. He spoke about how we are amongst the most powerful nations in the world, and he almost spoke as if he was equals with Donald Trump. He stood shoulder to shoulder with Donald Trump, and both of them promised each other that we will fight terror together. Digambar, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know whether you were there. Were you there at the Houston speech?
Yeah, I was there at Houston speech. It was the phenomenal. I wouldn't say like historic. It is like
the build-up has been. How do you think the build-up has been from Houston to New York?
So it's I'll elaborate a little bit of like Howdy Modi event, because I was right there like as a volunteer. We have been working like day in and day out there. So like mainly more than 1,500 to 2,000 volunteers we were working on. And one thing I'm going to tell you that event is going to be historic. It is never going to happen again, because you have never imagined any unit.
Why are you saying it won't happen again? Because I was told it'll get bigger than this.
No, I mean Madison Square Garden, right? After that, Prime Minister, President of the United States joining in a kind of event from a foreign leader. It's like unprecedented. I would say unprecedented if I needs to be corrected. But at the same time, Prime Minister made sure that all his points, all his agenda, he kind of put forth there itself. He spoke about how India passed 370, and he sent a clear message. Jammu Kashmir was, and Jammu Kashmir is, and Jammu Kashmir forever will be integral part of India. No force on the earth can take this away from us. That is the first thing he set forth. And the second thing, he clearly said that when he spoke about India and Indian narrative, it includes 130 crore Indians. And when he introduced all NRI community, he introduced Trump when you introduced 2017 your family, this is my family I'm introducing to you. That was the kind of roaring response you will hear from Indian community here. And that kind of message he's sending very clearly. And when it comes to other agendas, I think he had, you might have noticed 20 back-to-back high-level delegation.
Digambar, what does the tricolor mean to you, my friend? And what is it? What will this mean when the Prime Minister goes up and speaks there? What does the tricolor mean to you?
So tricolor means you can as many of us already said you can take Indian away from India, but you cannot take Indianness away from an Indian. So we are all always live and die for tricolor. And many people think that we just came here and just we gave up the citizenship. That's not at all true, because we protect Indian interest wherever we are, whatever the place that we are in, whatever the interest. And Prime Minister elaborates and gives us kind of moral boost when he says that you are my ambassadors.
Yes.
So Prime Minister doesn't say that you just came here to work, and he says that you are my ambassadors. You show better than what I give in my speeches. That kind of moral boost that we get from Prime Minister.
And how many people are you expecting here today, Digambar? How many people are coming here?
So at least 5,000 people, because we have been overbooked. We have been told them to come on their own, but we have made as much arrangements as possible because of the short time. And we we have been told some of them if possible come on your own. But there has been huge response for Prime Minister's speech, no matter wherever he goes. You can see the Howdy Modi event, 59,000 registrations and at least 10 to 15,000 in queue.
Yeah.
So if that kind of response we get wherever Prime Minister is, because that includes how Prime Minister is taking our agenda, how people are rallying behind him, and whether it is United Nations, whether it is Howdy Modi event, whether it is short notice of 5 days, whether it is short notice of 1 day. So we'll always be there, and we will be solidly behind Prime Minister. Whatever he's gonna spoke we're absolutely sure that he will not leave no stone unturned to make Indian agenda in his
Digambar, what I'm going to do, Digambar, right now we're going to take a short break. We're going to take a short break here on Republic TV as we build up to the Prime Minister's speech. It's still early here in New York, 7:15 a.m. live from 5 a.m. 2.5 hours we've been live, and it's all building up to the Prime Minister's speech. We've been covering the Prime Minister's visit to the US for about 10 days now. Even before he landed in Houston, we were there building up to his speech and showing you the preparation. It all comes down to this. Howdy Modi to howdy UN. The biggest coverage continues on Republic TV. Stay tuned.